let's get on to the Hurricanes. Harry, bring us through the players.
Right. So first of all, big players out. Artie Sevilla over to Moana. TJ Perenara has kicked on to Japan, I believe. They've lost Geordie Barrett to Ireland. They've lost Josh Morby. They've lost Salesi Rayasi. They've lost Aidan Morgan. And that's without bringing in the likes of O'Reilly, who was their reserve hooker, Sangster and Grant, two of their locks. Sangster, who I really rated. It's a shame to see him go. James Tucker's gone. TK Howden's gone to the Highlanders. Viveni Lasanga, who we didn't really see much of, but he's a back row gone to the Highlanders. And then Richard Judd for some depth at half as well. So it's a lot of outs for them.
Who's left? No.
Luckily for them, they have Geordie Viljoen, who was so good to start last year, who's come in onto a full-time contract at 9. Cade Banks, we said, has come down from North Harbour and from the Blues. Lucas Cashmore has joined the side. TJ Clark, we mentioned already as well. Inari from Moana, so there's a second good 9 they've brought in. Fahy Finean Anofo has come across, as we've said before, from New Zealand Sevens. I'm slowly getting there. Zach Gallagher, I think, is a huge in for them from the Crusaders at lock. Riley Hohepper, I think, will do a job because they're a bit thin around the 10. Will Tucker, you're not going to see anyway, but he's a Highlanders lock. And Arisi Belico.
They swapped Tuckers, basically, is what they've done.
What's that?
They just swapped Tuckers, James Tucker and Will Tucker.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So there's a lot there. There's a lot of turnover there for this side. I think they were minor premiers last year and they got done by the Chiefs in the semis. It's very different this side this year. Very, very different.
Yeah, the key point there is there's like 9 big names out, and none of the names that are in are as big as those 9 names that are out.
Yeah.
I guess that's the key way to say it. So, and Nelson's, let's go with Nelson. Harry's just brought up our predicted lineups for the Hurricanes picture, and again, Nelson's gone with an image of Brad Shields in a Hurricanes Hawaiian shirt, absolutely pulling out the gun show.
It's painted on, that's for sure.
It looks like it, doesn't it? So yeah, I guess I'll start with the forwards again for take you through our predicted lineups for the Hurricanes this year. In the front row, we have we haven't all gone the same. So we've all gone Xavier Numia, who was absolutely killed it last year in that loose head jersey. Asafo Amua, again, absolutely killed it last year. Can't see either of those being pipped. And then I think there's going to be a lot of rotation, but for tight heads, we've got Tyrell Lomax, Harry and Nelson have gone Tyrell Lomax, and I've gone Pasilio Tossi. Now, I honestly think that those two will probably alternate 50-50, but I love Tossi. Tossi excites me. Lomax is a great player, but Tossi excites me. Just a lot more in his carries. I've talked about him for years. He used to be number 8. They put him in the front row. God, he's good. But he's obviously come off a cracker season where he had been promoted up to the All Blacks as well. So do you see it the same way, Harry? 50-50 in that jersey, or you still think he's behind Lomax?
No, I think it's 50. It's probably 50-50. I mean, they're both All Blacks now. Tossi's got a high ceiling. Like I really like him. I agree. I actually like him personally a little bit more than Lomax, but Lomax is just so highly rated in New Zealand that I find it hard to say that he will be their number 1, if you know what I mean. Like they start the grand final, I think Lomax plays 50 and Tossi plays 30 or 45-35, Yeah. And then I have Pori Rickety Stones.
Sorry, I've just realised I can't read, and that you've got Pori Rickety Stones.
Yeah, Xavier Namir is a gun. Like he may well be their starter, but Puri Rickety Stones is so good at the set piece. They seem to go through. It's really odd how the Hurricanes manage their props. It's like they'll lose their prop. They go 5 games with one, 5 games with another, 5 games with another, and they just roll it through, and it doesn't matter what else happens. So it's really hard to know where they actually rate them. For me, it's Xavier Namir and Puri Rickety Stones as their 2 top Lucies, whereas you guys have got Siali Lawaki. Both of you, which I find crazy that you've got him over Rickety Stones, but I've just always been a big fan. I think at his best, he's probably their best set piece Lucy.
Yeah, see, I think that's the only thing he brings. He brings some set piece. Is he better than Xavier Namir in the set piece? I don't think so. So for mine, Xavier Namir starting, and yep, like you said, on our bench, Harry and I both haven't put Rickety Stones. We've gone Siali Larky. We've said bring the new guy in, the new young gun. He's basically just like Xavier Numia 2.0. And he excites me, mate. Right, I like being excited by props, Harry. Okay, it's particularly in Super Rugby. Look, you can have your boring props up in Test Rugby, but no, Super Rugby.
I'm not happy here. I've been stitched up on the image with James O'Reilly still on the side. The guy's not even in the side. Like, surely Nelson could have realised that when we drafted this months ago that maybe that needed to be switched out.
That's it. So we've all gone for Jake. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Harry. We've all gone for Jacob Devery as our bench hooker.
I might just say Raymond Tupu, just to be different.
You want to be different? Yeah, Raymond Tupu, who, if you remember last year, he kind of was called up, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through the season from, I don't know, his construction job just suddenly called up and ran into start because they had that many injuries.
Is he the one that scored a try in his first game as well?
He did. He definitely did, yeah. So,
and he did the same in NPC. He scored a couple as well. So he's I'm always a big fan of.
That's it. Off the back of last year, the opportunities have just opened up for him, and he's now in the squad. So, Jacob Devery's been around for a long time. Couldn't tell you anything about him. Doesn't excite me at all. Let's get Raymond Tupu up there. Sorry, Devery, but I'm savage here. But no, that's and that's what we've got for the front row. So we've got Nelson and I had Siali Lauaki on the bench, and then Nelson's gone to Vita Mafaleo. So not sure he's just forgotten about Basilio Tossi, but yeah, he's gone for the bowling ball instead. Sione Mafaleo is the bowling ball. Tavita is the mini bowling ball.
I don't know. I think he's just doesn't know what he's talking about. That's the only thing we can assume from this.
Yep. All right, locks. Moving on. All right, we have all said. I'm definitely confirming this. We've all said Isaiah Walker-Leawere and Caleb Delaney to be your starting locks. They've both been around for a long time. Caleb Delaney, I think, has come on a lot last year. And he was really pushing for like a lock or six, but I think he's kind of beefed up a bit more and really just committed to being a lock because the Hurricanes have so many back rowers. You're not going to get much time at six there.
Yeah.
So I think that they're probably your ironed on starters. And as we said, as Harry alluded to earlier, Zach Gallagher, really big signing for them coming across from the Crusaders. He's just really typical big lock mould there to do the job. And he'll be a really serviceable bench lock, I think.
My gut is that Gallagher will start by the end of the year. Yeah, I think he'll usurp Delaney. Delaney's exciting, but I think Delaney and Walker-Leawere are both your big physical presences, whereas Zach Gallagher's probably your smarter workhorse. So I think that Gallagher will end up partnering Walker-Leawere and Delaney will be your impact player and they'll rotate them around a little bit. But to start the year, I think we're probably all on the same page.
Yep, I think you've nailed that. And then back rows. All right, we've got some differences here for sure. So Nelson's opted with Brad Shields at 6, Duplessis Karifi at 7, and Braden Yosse at 8.
That is madness.
And he's put new All Black, almost standout player of the year, Peter Lakai, who you'll see in my background image here on this podcast, on the bench, which is absolute madness. So I don't know what he was smoking. I'll have Brad Shields at 6, Peter Lakai at 7, and Braden Yosse at 8. And I will have Duplessis Karifi on my bench. And Harry, you've gone for Brad Shields at 6, Peter Lakai at 7, and Braden Yosse with Devon Flanders and Duplessis Karifi on the bench. So,
I find it really funny that Nelson's gone and typed Devon Flanders for him. He's got Devon Flanders for me.
Yeah.
That's like, he's just done nothing to us, but nothing to look after us there at all. But as he said, he's away, mate. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Look, I actually think this is a really interesting one, the Brad Shields debate at 6. I think it's very noteworthy that the Hurricanes haven't announced a captain yet. And my gut says that that's because they don't know if Brad Shields is their locked-on starter. Personally, I would definitely put Devon Flanders above him at the 6 jersey, but the leadership aspect that they've had with Brad Shields, I think he's probably the starter. If they don't name him as a captain or a vice-captain, he's gone for me. I would sit him out of the side, and to be honest, then I think he struggles to get onto the bench because I don't think he's going to have the same impact as any of their reserve Lucies as well. So, yeah, look, Duplessis Karifi definitely fell out of favour a little bit last year, but they've just got so much depth. And look, the most outrageous thing here is the fact that Nelson's got Peter Lakai, the All Black, on his bench. Like, that's just absolute insanity. That's what I would say.
Yeah. And you guys have opted. You both cheated with opted for a 6-2 bench with you, so you can get extra flankers in there, just so you don't have to make a decision. But
Yeah.
Now for mine in the pecking order, Flanders is great, and I think Flanders for me is either going to be starting at 6 or not on the bench. I think that Karifi they really like on the bench for that injection.
Flanders can play 8 as well, though.
He can, but basically Peter Lackai's never leaving the field, so he's playing 7 or 8, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's And Yossei they're both can play 80 or whatever. So who knows? But it's exciting that it feels like they've now got one less play. Now you don't have to fit Artie into that equation, which is it was so incredibly frustrating before because you're like, right, Artie's definitely playing now. Who the hell is playing apart from Artie in the 6 and 8, in the 6 and 7?
And it still seems ridiculously deep as a position, like as a set of positions.
It's wild. So.
Ridiculous. All right,
backs.
Backline, Cam Roygaard. No surprise, we all have him because he's a freak of nature. We all think Ruben Love is going to be their first choice, but it's worth noting that he is injured at the moment. Ruben Love has said that he wants to play 10, so I believe that's where we'll see him shift this year. But he did have ankle surgery mid-December. They said his recovery is 3 or 4 months, aiming for around round 5. So I think they're going to be trying to use a bit of a stopgap solution at 10. I kind of hope it's Harry Godfrey just because I think he's more exciting. I've said Lucas Cashmore is injured as well, has an MCL injury. He's out for 10 weeks. They've got young Caleb Harkin in as well. But really, to me, it's Riley Hohepa or Harry Godfrey. My gut says it's going to be Hohepa. I want it to be Godfrey.
I am exactly the same. Yep.
Then because of that, you've got Hohepa on your bench, whereas that's probably one of the reasons we went to 6-2 is we just haven't put a reserve fly half in. We just didn't want it.
You just can't bring yourself to put Hohepa on the team sheet, is what you're saying.
You can't, mate. You don't become minor premiers one year and then Hohepa. Well, you do because that's Crusaders from last year, and we saw how that went. Centers, we've all gone Peter Umunga Jensen and Billy Proctor. Nelson and I both have Riley Higgins on the bench. You've basically just said he's nowhere near it. Is that right?
That's it, mate. Yep.
And then outside backs, we've got Kini Naholo for all of us on the left wing, particularly obviously with the loss of Salisi Rayasi. I think it's now just his jersey every single week, although there's an argument to say he already did that. I've got Bale and Sullivan, so does Nelson on the right wing, which is how they rolled it out again on the weekends. Mm-hmm. You've gone Cade Banks, obviously an exceptional finisher, come off such a good year. His stats in the NPC were phenomenal. Like I think he was topping the line breaks as well. He was up there in offloads. Like I think he'll be a very good pick if they pick him.
I think he's top try scorer.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think they seem to really love Bale and Sullivan out there. They just want him on the field, and so do I, to be fair.
Well, if we just cross our fingers hard enough, we'll have Harry Godfrey at 10. They can put Cade Banks at fullback, and then we can have Bale and Sullivan on the right wing. And now we are cooking.
Yeah, I'm all for that. That sounds phenomenal. We've all got Harry Godfrey at 15. And then Kagi, who's your reserve outside?
I've got Fehi Finangonofo. That's my attempt at that.
Finay Ananofo, yeah. I don't think you got to say the G. I think it's just Finay Ananofo. Anyway, I just wanted to give you the opportunity. I think you did pretty well, to be honest. Didn't look like Nelson out for me, you know.
It's I just think he'd be great on the bench to bring in. But no, I think we just nailed it in our preference. Let's get Bale and Sullivan right wing, Cade Banks at fullback, Harry Godfrey at 10.
Yep, all for it.
Hurricanes coaches, if you're listening, there it is.
Yep. Injuries, I've mentioned Ruben Love. Brett Cameron also ACL injury from NPC. He's gone for the year. Lucas Cashmore, I've mentioned. TJ Clark, we said, was seen as a fullback option, will be out for several weeks. Also, Zach Gallagher, listed as unavailable for last weekend was Zach Gallagher, Daniel Sinkinson, Josh Tuala, and Will Tucker, but I have no more detail on that, so I don't know if that's an injury or not for those guys. Tyrell Lomax has a stress fracture, won't play the final trial, and at least round 1, so they're kind of seeing how that progresses. That's definitely got the possibility to blow out a couple more weeks. And then Asafa Amour is still recovering from foot surgery, so won't be back until round 2 or 3.
That's devastating.
Will you still pick him first round?
Well, that's now going to make it really hard. Yeah, whether I can pick my favourite boy first round or not. I mean,
well, mate, I thought you said Joseph Suoliti was your first round.
Mate, everyone's my first round pick, Harry. I've got all of them. They're all my first round pick. Okay. Yeah, cool. All right, so a lot of injuries there, and a lot of questions to ponder for fantasy managers. But let's get on to stocks are rising, stocks are falling. Stocks are rising. Harry's got Riley Higgins. We've gone into that 50-50 chance of that 12 jersey, so he could be in for a big year. Harry Godfrey, I would say this is the biggest stocks are rising. He could make that 10 jersey his own, and if he, in all seriousness, if he has an absolute blinder of a year, he could wind up in the wide All Black squad going away on tour. You know what I mean? That's the kind of potential he has this year.
It's possible, but I really think if he's at 10, he's just warming it for Ruben Love.
Right. Yep. No,
because they do play together at NPC, and Love's at 10 and he's at 15. I just can't see them going against what they've been building for 2 years.
That's true. I completely forgot Ruben Love existed, and I thought he was out all season. But no, you're right. He's back. What did you say? He's back in round 5 or something?
4 or 5, yeah.
4 or 5, yeah. And otherwise, Zach Gallagher, stocks are rising, as Harry alluded to. Starting on the bench, really good recruit for the Hurricanes. Could well see him promoted to the starting lineup weekly by the end of the season. So
yeah.
Stocks that are falling, we've got Devon Flanders. We've discussed that, the back row, difficult choices. We'll see how that goes. And as Harry nailed it, it really does all come down on how they see Brad Shields and Duplessis Karifi. I think it's really just the rise of Lakai and Braden Yosse. He's not getting a starting berth. They could have Lakai at 6. So Lakai could play 6, 7, or 8. They could go Lakai at 6, Duplessis Karifi at 7, and Yosse at 8. But you have to say there was a period there where Duplessis looked like he was really, coming after that 7 jersey if Artie wasn't there. But that's the Peter Lakai train has arrived, and that's done.
It's left the station, mate. It's not just arrived; it's left the station.
Yeah.
I had from my Smokies. I had first of all, again, we've talked about this, but Cade Banks definitely, I think, has to be up there if he gets an opportunity. He was first, as we said, with 10 tries in the NPC last year, and he was also second in defenders beaten with 47, behind only Timothy Tavatavanawai, which. That's pretty massive to be able to do both of those. I think if he plays some fantasy footy, then Jesus, he's going to be very, very valuable in that front as well. But that's 9 games for 47 defenders beaten as well.
Are they just getting out of his way or something? What's going on? Did he pay them to do that? Or I don't know.
I don't know, but that's big, big, big numbers. He doesn't look big enough to do those numbers, so he's fast enough, obviously. And then we had Fahy Finayan Anofo, who is, as we said, he's a former Sevens player. He moved to the outside backs for Bayer Plenty in the ITM last year, and he's just a big unit, super powerful. I think there's still some question marks around the back 3. He's another one that could end up as a starter by the end of the year.
And it's also worth noting, he's one of those players where kind of, I'm not going to say like for like, but if Keenan Naholo goes down with an injury, you're stoked, boom, we'll stick him in there starting at left. He's that type of big, powerful winger. So.
I agree.
All right. Development from last year and predicted rank. Harry, I'm going to let you go first again. Well,
I said Chiefs, Blues, and then I think they're going to drop a bit. I think they just have to drop a bit. I don't love their depth at lock. I don't love their depth at hooker. They've got a lot of good props, a lot of good back rowers. They don't really have a well-established 10-15 combination. They're searching for answers on one wing. They've got positions with insane depth and positions with big question marks. So I just don't think that can put you in the top 4. My gut says they're 5th. So that would mean that I've got Blues, Chiefs, Brumbies, and maybe the Reds above them. So say 4th or 5th.
Wait, 4th or 5th? You just said there were 4 or 5 teams above them.
4th or 5th. So if the Reds are above them, they'll be 5th. If they may be over the top of the Reds, though.
Cool. I'm going to say 5th or 6th. So
who else would you put in the conversation to get it beyond them?
So what have we got? Chiefs, but look, possibly. I just think I know this is a mighty fall from last year, but just they've lost so many big name players that I don't think it's impossible for the Crusaders or the Highlanders to end up above them on the table. So,
do you think that's more likely than say like the Draw or something like that?
Yep, I do.
Right, okay.
Every teams. So